Hey friends, and welcome back to another Sunday Stitches. I'm Lauren, the artist, fiber artist and designer behind Garden Girl Studio. If you're new here, welcome. Today I am going to be working on a fun project, and I hope you join me. You're welcome to stitch along right with me, or if you've brought your own project, that's great as well. And as you know, for the past couple weeks, if you've been following along, you can work on anything. You can work on laundry, you can meal prep for the week. I've had a few people working on greeting cards and things like that. And sewing along on their own projects, quilting, slow stitching. I love it, and I love to see it. So grab a cozy beverage. I have blueberry tea today because it is really, really cold here in New York. It is really chilly. Our temperature embroidery project is going to be exciting for this week. On occasion, my dog Ellie may interrupt me, so I'll try to keep those interruptions as minimal as possible, but it's, welcome to the family. She may interrupt on occasion. I also grabbed, my fuzzy warm cardigan. It's like that soft, chenille type yarn. So I'm really cozy today. And I have a lap quilt, Go Buffalo, Buffalo Bills playoff weekend. If you're into football, I'm into sports, but you may not be. And I totally understand and respect that. But I got to get in my Go Buffalo Bills. So anyways, we are going to be stitching today, and I'm really excited to share this project with you. I've been thinking all week about what I wanted to work on, and I've decided that one of my goals for this year was to produce a stick and stitch pack every single month. So I've created a snowy themed January pack, and I will show you what that looks like. I'll take a little pan shot so you can see all the different stick and stitch kits. But basically what this means, if you're familiar with stick and stitch patterns, is I have these tiny little stickers that are super cute, and they essentially are embroidery templates. So you peel off the back of the sticker, you put it onto whatever you want to stitch on, and these are really great for things that are hard to trace the design onto. So if you are normally a person that's going to trace your template using a window or a light box or something like that, sometimes if you're working on sweater material, it's really hard to trace the patterns. Maybe like denim, that might be a little bit harder to see through and have the light permeate through. These are a really great option because they wash away in water. So we're going to be working today, and I was debating all week on what I wanted to use my stickers on, but I think it's really chilly outside, so I was thinking we're gonna do a hat. This is a really fun hat that I've picked up along the way. It has these raspberry gray and peachy tan undertones. This is faux fur. We are animal friendly in this household, but I thought that this would be really pretty, and I don't know which template to choose here. I'll migrate the camera so that you can kind of see what I'm picking between, and yeah, we're gonna start stitching. So grab your supplies and we will dive right on in. Okay, so these are the stick and stitch stickers that come with my January design kit. So I have available on my website, these will be available as pre-cuts if you don't want to do, if you want it all pre-done for you, where I'm printing out the stickers and getting them all bundled and ready to go for you. If you're a little bit crafty and you want to try making some of these stick and stitch stickers yourself, you can download the design on my website as well. And I am using this sticky Fabri-Solvi. I like the printable version. It works with my printer. Make sure that it's compatible with your printer before you dive too far into it, because obviously you want to make sure that you're not going to jam up your printer. But I prefer the sticky Fabri-Solvi from Sulky, and I like the printable kind. And these come in sheets. This pack has 11 or 8.5 by 11 sheets. There's 12 of them, medium weight, and I have really good luck with them. So feel free to try this yourself, or if you want to just grab and go, if you want to try some of these, I have them available on my website. So as bundles, so you can go ahead and order them there. They don't come with a ton of instructions other than to, peel and stick and start sewing. So these types of projects are good for, I would say, intermediate embroiderers. If you are confident in your stitches, you know what you like to do. If you're a beginner, you can also learn a number of stitches that I like to use. I have tutorials on this YouTube channel, but we won't get too far into that because this is a Hangout day. So we've got to decide what we want to stitch on our hat. And you can see I've got a little indent here. There was a tag. I took the tag off. Of course, if you like your tags on your hats, you can always stitch around your tags. But I took the tag off so that I had a nice like blank space to work with. And I've been debating, I love florals. So I was thinking about doing this floral pattern. Here, I'll set it down so you can kind of see. And it'll fit in here. It's a little bit big, but I can always trim off. You know, with these stickers, you can trim up a little bit and you can adjust the patterns a little bit. So if something was going off, you could also cut it out and just move it around. But I do florals a lot and I thought that maybe we would do something different today. So I was also thinking about working with some of these snowflakes since it's January and it's freezing outside. It's really cold. It is 12 degrees outside, and that's Fahrenheit. So 12 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and the real feel is, oh gosh, what was the real feel? It was -2. It was -2. So I was thinking about playing with some of these, and we might be able to kind of, you know, fan them in a little bit, and we'll do a little, maybe I'll do like one of each. Maybe we'll balance them since there's a couple of those. We could go ironic and do a hat on a hat with a couple mittens. The mittens are so big. That's so cute. Okay, but I don't think we want to do that. So, I mean, that's cute. I'm surprised because I didn't think that was going to be the direction I wanted to go today. I do have a knitting icon, so we could like, no, okay. Okay, we're going for, I think I'm going to do the lettering. I actually think this will be really, really cute. This is what we're going to probably go with. So I'm going to set my little tray to the side because it'll be a little bit easier. We'll have more workspace. I was thinking about what colors I wanted to use. And in general, I think darker colors are going to look really good with this. So bring my supplies a little bit closer. I think, so it has these berry undertones. I think this might be pretty, like the darker color, maybe for the lettering. And then we'll go, I think we're going to go like hardcore traditional white. Oh my gosh, it is breezy. I'm right by my window today, friends, and it is really breezy today. Okay, that's a lie. It's not really breezy. It's really drafty. I have an old house, so we could go like slightly dirty snow. I know, is this going to look like, oh, this is too stark. Please, let's look. Okay, we have my tried and true handy dandy box as well. So let's see if we can color coordinate in here. I definitely also, you probably have seen this on the side here for a few minutes. I found this in my stash and it's like perfect. It is this metallic, it's Candlelight. The color is copper, silver, lavender, which matches the colors in the hat almost perfectly. This really is like a pinky lavender with gray and almost peachy undertones. And I think this will look really cool, maybe for the French knots or some of these flakes. We'll see how it plays. I've had this for decades. I don't remember where I got this, but I'm sure I got it as like a preteen and thought that the purple glitter silver situation was really cool. And we're going to actually use it today. So go team. And maybe this is not quite the right shade of this purple. I almost want like a deep, deep, deep mauve, but this might be as close as I really want it to stand out on this hat. So that might be as close as we're going to get. I do also like, this is a really nice gray. It's 451. It's DMC 451. I'm almost out. I need to order more, but I love this gray. And actually, I just don't know. I don't think we're going to have enough. Okay, I think all of these colors are out. This one will definitely show up. I'm just wondering how dark we really want to go. So my other choices, I don't have to go the gray route at all. And instead, we can go like mauvey lavender or like a purpley route. I also have this color, which might be too close. I can also go white because it's snow. Okay. No, we're overthinking a lot, and I think we're going to actually keep the palette for this project really simple. I'll have this on hand because it's pretty. I'll have both of these on hand in case we want to touch up anything, but I'm putting 451 on my list to reorder, and I don't have a nice dark mauve, so I'm going to put a darker mauve. I'm going to look at my chart and see if there's some darker mauves that would be good. But let's try to primarily use this and our white and see what we come up with. I think it's a simple design and we don't want to overcomplicate it. So I'm going to go ahead and get my sticker ready. I'm just going to use a needle. There we go. Score it. And luckily with the old patch mark here, it's going to be pretty easy for me to hopefully center this right where we want it. Yeah. Okay. Now this is a really thick material, so I don't think I'm going to be using a hoop, but if you want to use a hoop on yours, by all means, I say go for it. And then we're going to just start stitching. Let me know in the comments what project you're working on. And if you're interested in seeing any of those other stickers, let me know. I will be more than happy to stitch any of them out for you. If you'd rather see a floral on a hat or one of the other options on a hat, I can do extra videos. I have plenty of these hats. I tend to sell them. This one I'm going to keep, but I tend to sell them at markets. They're popular. I mean, I love them. I tend to find that like if like I would like wear something, maybe someone else would too, or at least that's my hope. So I do make a bunch of these. So I do have a supply of hats. I am going to be buying this one for myself because you know sometimes you just need to rock the merch that you make. And it's cold outside, so I want to stay warm. What's your favorite way to stay warm? If it's winter where you are, if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, what is your favorite way to stay warm? I'm a quilter. Many of you know I'm a quilter, so I have a quilt in like a quilt. Okay, that's a laugh. I have a number of quilts in my living room, my bedroom, wherever I'm gonna be because they are just so warm and cozy. And I like having hot water or hot tea. Occasionally, so I love coffee, but the caffeine sometimes is too much for me, so I have to go like decaf or like lower caffeine range. I used to love espresso, but I am definitely, I'm getting to the point where I can't, too much caffeine just makes me really jittery, so I just don't do quite so much. Okay, I'm debating between, I think I'm going to do whipped backstitch. Because it's cursive-y, whipped backstitch tends to be my fave, so we're going to just do whipped backstitch. I was thinking about doing a split stitch, but I think we're going to go whipped backstitch. And I'm using 3 strands, so if you're following along, using 3 strands of blanc. This is just blanc white. So I didn't realize DMC was, I guess I should have known this. I think that their like main part of their business is in France, which is wonderful. I have had the pleasure of going to France once and it was lovely. My dad taught me to speak French when I was little. I am no longer fluent. I used to be pretty fluent. I mean, I'm sure some of my tenses and conjugations weren't completely accurate, but I was like, I could like dream in French. Like I would have dreams en français, in French. And now I am so out of practice that I don't remember it all. But he worked. He was working and he had jobs in both Montreal, Canada, and he had business partners or I don't know, contacts in France. And so when I was in elementary school, he set me up with a French pen pal. So I started learning French so I could practice my French, and his business contact's daughter could practice her English. And so I got to learn French pretty early, which was pretty cool. And when I was in, oh gosh, my dad's awesome. So when I was in, okay, so we didn't really start languages until high school. So I had a junior, senior high school, so 7th grade, and we had to pick a language, and I chose to take French because I didn't know a lot, but I knew enough. I knew like general pronunciations, and I knew the letters, and I knew maybe basic conjugations. I could enough that my dad could help me write a letter, when I was little, but he taught me, he goes, okay, this first week of school in French class, you're going to learn hello and how are you? And so he's like, but we're going to impress your teacher. He goes, I'm going to teach you how to say, when she asks you, how are you in French, you are going to respond in French. And not so great, I'm okay, but I have a headache. So he taught me how to say, when she said, comment ça va? Or comment allez-vous aujourd'hui? I'd say, I said, and I did it. I'm not a bold kid, y'all. I was not a bold kid, but I did it. When I didn't give the response that she had taught us. I said, oh, parle mal, j'ai mal à la tête aujourd'hui. I have the direct translation in English is I have a sickness of the head, but it means I have a headache, translated into French. And my teacher, she's Parisian, she was wonderful. She knew French. She looked at me like, oh my goodness. And y'all, I was in for like the rest of my high school experience. It's like, she was like, yep. I had a couple French teachers, but she was like, yep, like, we're good. Like this girl knows her stuff. So my dad, he set me up for success in that French class, let me tell you. So thank you, Dad, and I didn't have a headache that day. We were just trying to get into my teacher's good graces. Is that terrible? I mean, have y'all ever had like one of those moments where you're like, yep, we're going to just try to make a good impression first week of school. And I was in 7th grade. It was a new school. I went to a private high school. So and it was small, it's Catholic school. So 7th and 8th grade were combined with the high school. So it was junior, senior high school. So I was probably nervous, my first week of school, because, I'm a nervous human being, I guess. And and I'm not like, it was, so anyway, it worked out. It was cool. But and I went to that school primarily because my parents worked in that city. So I wasn't eligible to go to the public schools there because we lived in a different city. But so I needed a way to, sports practices. I played a lot of sports. I know I mentioned Go Bills, but I also played a lot of sports. I played soccer, basketball. And so it was easier for my parents with like practices and games to pick me up if it was closer to their work city. So that's why I went to private school. But so French class, y'all. I didn't realize DMC. So blanc is white in French. That's where that story came from. And DMC is like a lot of their packaging. So I have like a bundle here. You can see it's in French. It's in French. And I thought that was just, I know things are made all over the world, but I don't know, it gave me like the warm and fuzzies, and those fuzzy feelings. And I remember that story from my high school, my dad teaching me something so I could impress my teacher in the first week of school. Go Dad. He, if I don't have kids right now, but if I ever have kids someday, we're going to try to set them up for success. Granted, I only speak French. I don't, I can pick up, it's similar to other Romance languages. I helped some of my friends with their Spanish homework. If, I could tell like the words were similar, I could kind of use my best judgment to assist them a smidgen, but it really wasn't anything impressive by any means. We're going to get more thread here. But if they choose to take French, which I doubt they will, because I think there are some probably more important languages for them to learn in our area, including Spanish, or I guess the local, I don't know if they still teach it. The local high school teaches Italian here in our neighborhood. We have a big history of Italian heritage and community in my neighborhood here. So I could see, and I would love that. I have Italian ancestors. I would love to take on more Italian. I think it's a beautiful language. So I don't know if they'll choose French, but if they do, we're going to help them succeed. If not, we're going to use like Google Translate to help them succeed. Listen, we are resourceful people. We'll set them up for their first week of school. Anyway, is it cold where you all are? Because it is freezing here. And we've gotten lucky because I'm a couple hours away from Buffalo. I'm like 3 hours away from Buffalo, and they are getting absolutely hammered. About an hour north of us has, I don't know, last I heard 3.5 feet of snow. That's a lot by our standards. Even that is a lot of snow. It is snowy, and we have gotten like a dusting, like an inch or two. Like we have like there's snow on the ground, but by like an inch or two of snow for us is not a lot of snow. So like that's, that will not stop us from driving around or doing what we need to do. So it is, but yeah, we've missed it. It's gone south of us, it's gone north of us, and it's gone, it's west of us. So I don't know. At some point it's going to catch up with us. I feel like maybe it won't. I don't know. But I feel like at some point it's going to catch up with us. And I don't mind snow. I think when it's on the ground, I don't mind if it's like in my yard. It's when it's on the roadways that I don't like driving in it. And I'm so thankful for the plows and the salt trucks and the city workers who come out and really, take care of our streets. I don't live on like one of the main roads in our little city here. So our road doesn't always get plowed out right away because it's not one of the important routes. But eventually they do come and they plow us out, and I very much appreciate it because driving on snowy roads is not fun. I can remember driving is not my favorite thing in general anyway. I'm just an anxious person, so driving is not my favorite. But I know it's necessary and essential, and I totally do it all the time, obviously. But I remember, one day in high school, I could drive. I had my license. We got out of school early. They closed the school early because a storm was coming and it was already starting to snow, and they knew the roads were going to get bad, so they wanted to send the kids home, all of us students home early. And like I mentioned to you, I lived in a different city than my school, so I lived half an hour away, but my parents worked in the same city as my school, so I think they came to pick me up from school because I didn't have a car. And then they decided that they each had their own cars, because I must have been that day. That had to be how it happened. They must have had different shifts or something, and they each drove separately to work. So I think I want to say they worked at the same building at that point, because at some point they worked in the same place, but maybe they were still working at two separate businesses. But anyways, they picked me up, and then they said, okay, we will carpool home at the end of our work day. You can take the car and go home before it gets too bad out. But it was already starting to get slick, and I was a young driver, y'all, and I was going cautiously, but I wasn't going slow enough, and it was busy roads, and it was one of those roads that's like 40, 45 miles an hour, and people go fast, and I was going like 25. I was going like half speed, which I'm sure drives everyone crazy, but I was trying to be cautious. And not only is it like a busy, fast road, but there are red lights all through it. It's like a commercial sort of area. And at like just the right moment, the light turned red where I was like, okay, I have to stop. Like I can't go through it. And then I saw like just in front of me, the plows must have lifted their blades. And so when that happens, if you're not familiar with snow, that means that a big pile of snow and ice is probably going to be coming at you relatively quickly. And I'm not like a driving instructor, so don't take my words as like the end all, but basically when you have snow and ice coming, you don't want to brake hard because you will skid. And so I braked as much as I could before I hit that slush pile. But once I hit the slush, I was still at a speed that was like too fast for the slush. And so I started skidding and the light turns red and I'm still moving. Luckily, there was no one ahead of me. And I laid my 16-year-old self or 17-year-old self, however old I was, I put on my horn so that like no one would enter the intersection because I knew I was going to have to blow the red light, which is embarrassing and dangerous. And luckily, all of the cars saw me. They heard me coming and, you know, cold weather, right? Snowy day. You just got to anticipate that, you know, vehicles might not be able to stop. And I had a situation where I could not stop. And luckily, everyone saw me coming. You know, I put on my horn so they knew I wasn't going to make it. And no accidents happened, which was great. And I blew the red light, guilty. But it worked out. You know, it worked out. I was fine. I was safe. I made it home, but I was probably white knuckled the whole way driving home. And I'm sure I was upset at myself for not being able to stop the car before the red light. But it was okay. It worked out. So long story. Snow driving is not my favorite. Obviously, I've gotten a lot more experience over the years. So I'm no longer 17 and driving my car. But yeah, that was definitely, you remember those moments. You remember those, you know, hard driving moments for sure. Okay, so this is coming along okay. We're going to tie this off. And then I think we're going to try, let's see how whipping it looks. We're going to go and make it look a little bit more succinct. So for anyone wondering what this stitch is, it's the whip back stitch. And I should have a tutorial up for you to be able to watch. I'll try to link below any of the videos that might help you with some of these stitches. So this is the back stitch part. And I'm not too worried about the stitches being the same length because we're about to, oh, I didn't follow my own rule. I pulled it from the wrong way. That's why I got all bunchy. That's okay though. No big deal. Okay. So I used, this is kind of narrow. I used 3. If I were to do that again, I think I'd use maybe 2 and 2. So here, when I'm going to do the whipped part, I'm only going to use 2. Because I don't want it to get too thick because some of these, like the E and the O loop, they're a little bit tight. So, and I wound up stitching. So the nice thing about these templates is you don't have to stitch right on the line. You can kind of go on the outside of the line if that's working better for you in terms of spacing. So it's meant to just kind of be there as a guide. So I stitched a little bit outside on, I wanted the E to be a little bit wider, that hole, and the O, I kept it close, but for this whipping part, it's going to make the thread thicker, or seam thicker, so I want to just make sure that I'm not overdoing it. Okay, so anyway, enough snow scary stories. Enough snow driving stories. Let's see. What is everyone working on this week? I know I'm a little tired this week. It was a busy week. It was a good week, but I am so grateful it was the weekend. I need to recharge a bit. And for me, recharging is a fun sewing project. So I am so thankful that you're here with me and enjoying these videos. If you want to keep watching these videos, I'm going to work really hard to have one come out every single week. Subscribe along so that you can follow along and enjoy hanging out with me on the weekends. Recharge, we chill, we hang out, we sip our tea. Maybe we share some tea. I don't know. I try to share some fun stories with you when I can. I think, oops, sorry. If I go quiet, it's because I'm suddenly concentrating on what I'm doing. So if you hear like moments of silence or pause, it's probably because I'm trying to pay attention to my stitches more than I otherwise might be. Okay, so we're gonna come down because I wanted that. Okay, are we so far happy with this? Yeah, I'm okay with this. We'll do this branch right here. I probably should have done the crossover second, but that's okay. We're gonna just pop under it. I want it to look like it's going over the top of these bars. So what's everyone working on this week? Did we work all week? Did we have Did we have any fun projects? Any fun events? What's going on in your world? Tell me about it. I'd love to hear about it. What are you interested in? Do you have other hobbies that you get into that you like to do while you're hanging out and recouping from a long week? I was quilting a lot this week. I had a number of, so I'm a long arm quilter for anyone who may not know. I know I show a lot of embroidery on my channel. I don't show a ton of my long arm quilting videos because a lot of my customers, they're private projects. You know, it's a lot of times the quilts that I get in are gifts, or they're going to be in shows, and I don't want, like, quilt shows, and I don't want to like spoil their work early if they're, you know, in a competition. So I don't always share my videos because I just don't want to spoil a surprise if it's a gift or if it's a sentimental quilt. Sometimes I'll get in t-shirt quilts or memory quilts, and, you know, quilts that have shirt samples from, you know, a loved one. And I don't want to, it just doesn't feel right to post it. I don't know why. I probably should just get over it, but yeah, that looks nice. I think that looks really, really nice. And you can kind of tweak it and move it around a little bit. It's kind of an interesting hat because there's a lot of ribbing, so I don't know how this is going to come out. I'm hoping that it comes out well. We'll see. I'm going to have to wash away the stitching, and then we'll have to wait for the hat to dry to really see how it came out. Don't worry, I won't make you wait with me while the hat's drying. I will show you the results after it's all done drying, but I'm hoping that there's going to be enough contrast here and enough, hoping that the ribbing doesn't throw us off. Usually, I don't have one near me. Usually I don't work with hats that have as much ribbing, so this is a little bit of an experiment too, to see how this comes out. And especially with the lettering's so thin, I'm hoping that this will come out the way I am at least sort of envisioning. Trying to carefully get under this loop. There we go. I did have a really cool, one of my friends is visiting. I say visiting, she's come home this week. She's been traveling the world. She's amazing. She's like on the adventure of a lifetime, and it's been really cool catching up with her. I'm hoping we can meet up again next week before she heads out on more adventures. But that was really great. We had dinner last night at a local place that I have never been to, so I got to try new food. And because it's been so cold, I ordered meatloaf and mashed potatoes because it felt homey. It's like comfort food. I think my biggest comfort foods, you know, I love pastina. Whenever I was sick growing up, like butter noodles essentially, except they're not like full noodles, it's pastina. So pastina pasta is like it's tiny little, I don't know, itty bitty spheres, almost like mini rice, like just like partial rice in terms of like size, like orzo, but it's pastina. And I loved buttered noodles, little Parmesan cheese, and pastina, and so I like that, like cozy comfort food, like a bowl of soup. I love soup. I probably should make some soup. It's a good soup week, and it gets the house warm. Like when I don't cook very often because I just don't have the patience anymore for cooking. I wish I had more. I gotta like slow down and take some time for. Okay, if you're doing this with me and your thread's getting all like twisty, you're just gonna let it untwist a little bit. Oop, I just made it worse. There we go. Okay. But yeah, it's definitely good soup season. In the summers, it's like smoothie salad season, but this time of year, it is definitely soup season. My husband really likes French onion soup, so sometimes I will make French onion soup. It's really good. But I like any kind of soup. I like vegetable soup. I like, you know, minestrone soup. I don't know how to make minestrone soup, but sometimes I get some of the canned ones from the grocery store too. Mix it fast if I don't have time to stand by the stove for a couple hours. It's also a good time of year for baking. I don't bake all that much, but if you do, what do you love to bake? Do you do bread? I know a lot of people have gotten into bread making, and I am forever impressed with it because I just, yeah, I don't follow instructions for baking very well. I should, but I just, yeah, I mean, I should. And I also just, if I bake like cookies, I'm gonna eat them. I guess I could give them away, but then I have cookies in the house, and you know, the cookies can't go to waste, you know? Okay, so how are our projects coming out? We're almost done with the hello. Let's see, this loop is gonna be really important. It's starting to come. Okay, let's see how we do here. Oh, my Lanta. A ton of stitches. Okay, there we go. It's a little delicate. There we go. Yeah, and don't be afraid if you're working on this to spin your hat around. Also, be careful if you're working on a hat. One of the keys, don't stitch like through to the main. If you feel like you're going to, just flip your hat inside out. This is an easy trick. Just flip your hat inside out, and then you'll only be working with like the one layer. I like kind of seeing how the hat's laying out, like how everything's looking in hat formation as I'm working. But if it's easier for you to make sure that you're not going to catch this underside, then lay it out flat for sure. Flip it inside out. That is a good tool to use. Okay, so. Okay, hello is done. Okay. That's cute. I think it's cute. I think it's cute. It's a little, has some character. Definitely has some character, but I think it's cute. You can kind of play with it a little bit. Sometimes you can kind of use your needle to tweak the edges. I think it's because it's on the ridges. I don't know. Worst case, you know, you can always start again. But we're just going to enjoy the project and the process. And if it becomes a learning event, then it becomes a learning event. I honestly think it's probably going to come out cute enough that we're going to be happy with it, but I guess we will find out. Okay, so let's do the snow, and then we'll add in our little stars and our snowflakes. So I know I've been babbling and chatting for a bit for the hello, for the snow. I'm going to put on I'm probably going to put on a little bit of music just so that we can kind of work peacefully and enjoy relaxing and stitching, and you don't have to listen to me babbling quite so much. Of course, if there is a story or something you want to know, if you leave, drop it in the comments, and if it's something I can speak to, then I will try to include it in one of our upcoming Sunday Stitch videos. But otherwise, enjoy stitching for a couple minutes. We're going to try to get through this snow. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling like I need to get these windows replaced, touched up, caulked, something. It is very drafty by this window. It's great light though. So this room that I'm in, my main studio room where you see me filming or taking pictures a lot. I call it like my studio space. It is actually a converted attic. So I have a window here, and my husband's office is like in the adjacent room. He has a window in his room, but there's not a ton of light. So, and I like working with a lot of light. So I thought that being by the window today would be just, and especially since it's winter time, I feel like I need as much sunlight as I can possibly get. I mean, it's a gray day, but just being near the natural light is nice. But this window is definitely drafty. I'm glad I have my quilt with me up here and some warm tea. It's getting cold, but that's okay. It's like still lukewarm. I'm too nervous to get one of those desktop, like those little tabletop, like keep your tea warm heaters. I'm too nervous for that. I probably should trust it, but I just do not. So if you have one, let me know if you like it, if it works, because I don't know about you, but I always forget about my like tea, coffee, hot water, and then it cools off, and then I gotta go like reheat it in the microwave or brew a new pot of coffee or hot water. Really, it's usually just hot water. Okay, forgot where I was. I think it's gonna be cute. It's gonna look a little homey. I think it's cute. You know what? That's all that matters when we're working on our own personal projects. We gotta be the ones that like it, right? I know that I'm doing this like publicly and y'all can love or hate it, and that's okay. But ultimately, when we're working on our artwork, we gotta be proud of it. We gotta be the ones that are like okay with it. And I really won't know whether this worked or not until after we wash it away. And if it didn't work, then it just means that we're not done yet. I'll keep working on it until I'm happy with it, and I'll show you what the results are. I won't, because it'll take a day. This is really thick material. I know I've rinsed out this stick and stitch material before on this type of knit, and it's not fast. It's going to take a minute. Luckily, it is a cold day and my heater is running, my furnace, so I will be able to, I'll probably pop it near one of like the radiators. I want to do one more. You probably have seen me like triple knotting. It's because when I'm working on knit, I'm afraid that the gaps between the weave is going to be, tends to be a little bit larger, and I don't want the knot from our thread or our floss to pull through. Okay, so I'm hyped for this. I want to use this floss again. It's Candlelight. It's a metallic yarn. So considering it a yarn, it's a little bit thicker. It is really blending in though with this color. I might like do a partial white situation here to blend it, to make it pop a little bit more. I think even I might do more than that. 6 is probably excessive. I know I always go back to 6. 6 is way too many. Okay, let's do this. For the snowflakes, like the bigger star snowflakes, we're going to use white. And then for the dots, we're going to use this Candlelight yarn because it's going to add just a little bit of sparkle. And I love adding sparkle. So I want to make sure that it's going to show up for these ridges. I don't know how this is going to pan out with the ridges. So usually I use non-ridged or like not so deep. These ridges are really deep. Normally I use like very shallow, nearly flat weaves when I'm working on my hats. So, but we're going to see. Don't worry. We're just going to make adjustments. Sometimes when you're working, you got to make calls on the fly. And especially with these stick and stitch kits, so I've seen other embroidery artists that offer stick and stitch kits. They don't really come with instructions. So sometimes you got to figure out what's going to work best with the design, either as you're going or plan it out, because I don't know, the world's your oyster. You can make it whatever you want it to be. So we're going to do 3. And we're going to try that again. Come right back up. Come right back down. Yeah, I'm much happier with that. Okay. It's going to be okay, friends. We're going to get through this project. I think it's going to be really cute, actually. I'm excited to wear this hat. Is anyone else working on a hat? Are you interested in learning how to do this? I think a floral would be popular. If you want me to do a floral hat video, let me know. I will doll one up for you. I enjoy the florals, and I can't imagine I'm the only one. We do have a very gardeny floral background, so that's one reason why I love florals so much. I might I think I like the 3. I don't think I even want to do the 4th line there. That's the other cool thing about stick and stitch projects. Like if I were on a flat piece of just cotton, I would probably be using 2 strands and I would have plenty of room for that 4th line across, but that's not the situation, and then that's not what we're stitching on. So that's what's cool about these stick and stitch patterns, is you can kind of make it your own as you go. You can make creative decisions on the fly regarding your own personal project. So I'm already starting to think about what's for dinner. I don't know about you, but I am feeling hungry. I don't know. Like, does cold weather make you hungry? I think we have chicken tortellini. I think I can whip up, and that actually sounds really good today. I think I might make that while my hat's drying. What are you all eating for dinner? What's sounding good? Are y'all good chefs? Like, do you guys like cook like really fun, amazing things? I'm like a foodie. I love food. So if you want to share food stories or recipes, I am totally here for it. I don't cook as much as I would like. Like, I would like to be cooking more than I currently am, but I don't get into it quite as much as I would like to. Okay, so we decided 3, right? So we're gonna do 3 again. 1. But yeah, what are you guys having for dinner? Because probably should have brought some snack, like crackers or something, but I don't know. Cozy Lauren was like, tea will be good for this video, but I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. Do you guys have craft snacks? Like, what's easy to snack on? Sometimes I'll grab like some veggies. Veggies are easy. I don't like getting my hands too dirty, but I like an apple, a little bit of an apple. Or I'll take a break and then I'll wash my hands after if I have to. Like sometimes, because I don't want to get my projects dirty, especially like this is a personal project, so I worry a little bit less. But if it's a customer project or something I'm going to be selling, I like to make sure my hands stay nice and clean. But like I won't be grabbing like Cheetos right now, you know, nothing like Cheeto dust all over for to get your project nice and orange. If you're eating Cheetos right now, I also highly approve. It's okay. You can get your own personal projects nice and orange, and I won't judge. I won't tell. We all like Cheetos. It's okay. Maybe we don't. I don't know, but I like Cheetos. Beautiful. We've got all of our little snowflakes in there. Now let's add some sparkle. Our little French knots, we're going to see if we can do them with this yarn. I might need to change needles. Let's take a look at how we do here. Okay. So I'll set this to the side. Oh, I hope this works because this is so pretty and it's going to look really pretty with this hat. I hope that this comes out nice. So I know we've been really plain and boring. Normally I'm using a ton of colors, but I think keeping this simple since it's a snow theme is actually a good way to go. So, and it fit with this needle, so that was good. I guess it's not that thick, it's all right. I can tell it would like to unravel though, so we're gonna, this strand might even be a little too long. We're gonna have to be kind of careful as we work with it. So, where do we want to start our knots? I don't know why I like starting at the top. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's try 3. Nope. Slight, wow, first French knot that in a long time. That was like, nah. I think I'll be angry and aggressive instead of functionally working. Okay. Hey, don't worry, friends. Sometimes French knots don't pan out. That one got a loop caught. I haven't seen that in a while. Don't worry. We'll do it again. We're getting warmed up. Knots happen with knots. Okay, round 2. 1, 2, 3. We're going to really hold our tail this time, and that should do a trick. Yeah, there we go. Oh gosh. Okay, this is cute. Yep, see how it's starting to gather? Metallic thread and floss, friends, is trickier to use than like a standard cotton, like DMC floss or like a pearl cotton. It tries to like the filaments. Can we see the filaments? They sometimes try to unravel or get caught, and sometimes they're loosely spun, so I don't even know if that's the right terminology, but we're gonna just do our best to move nice and slow and steady and get these knots the way we want them. Last one. Last one. We can do it. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, we're there. Okay. So this is what we have so far. Really pretty. I think the Hello Snow needs a little something something. And like the white just feels stark to me relative to the pretty sparkly candlelight that we use. We're gonna try the DMC Diamond Grande. And we're gonna try, yeah, I think that's gonna look nice. We're gonna, we're gonna weave it in. I was almost thinking about adding like a drop shadow type situation, but I think because it's cursive, it's gonna become more of a project than I want it to be. And it's the weekend. I don't want to think all that hard about it. I don't know about you. So we're gonna try to just weave it in a little bit, just to give it a little bit more oomph. And I think the extra thickness will help with the ridges situation too, so that if some of this lettering is starting to sink into the ridges, hopefully being a little bit thicker, it'll stand out a little bit more. So let's attempt that. We're gonna just weave our way through. And I'm probably not catching every stitch. We're gonna kind of, I know I've said this a couple times now, but we're gonna kind of speed through this as best we can. Oh my gosh. Is it perfect? No. Is it cute? Yes. Yes, it's super cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know. I've never had like a hat that's had like words written on it like this before, other than maybe like a sports cap or something. But like, you know, like when you go to the store and they've got like, you know, dog mama, or like, you know, my garden hat. Like, this is my Hello Snow hat. Hello Snow. Okay. Oh, and it's started to snow. It's like it knew. It's starting to snow outside. Okay, so I'm going to go rinse this out, and then I'm going to show you the results. Yay. Oh, cross your fingers, friends. We're going to rinse it out, and then I'm going to bring it to the heater and let it dry. I might show you with it wet. We'll see. We'll see how it looks. Sometimes you got to wait for it to dry in order. Oh, and we got to do that one stitch. Gosh, keep me on track, friends. Don't worry. It's going to be real easy. We're just going to take a short strand of this. Watch this. Watch this. Yeah, because what made me think of that is sometimes when you rinse it out, things will loosen a little bit because we're kind of changing the integrity, like the water dynamic kind of makes your stitches shift a little bit, so you might have to kind of brush them out or shift them back. But I don't want anything loose going into it that is knowingly loose, so I'm just popping up right near that knot. And I'm going to stitch, kind of wrap and loop a little. Wrap and loop, and just take it back down. Oh, and that is super secure. We're gonna knot that off nice. And now that French knot is not gonna move. And that happens sometimes. If you have a French knot that's loose, just tack it down. Just come up right near it or right under it, and then just give it a good little tuck right through. Loop your needle a little bit if you need to. But yeah. Okay, let's go rinse it out. Hey, so I wanted to give a quick update. It's been a few hours and the hat is actually, it's still drying. It's still kind of wet, but I wanted to give you a brief update so you can kind of see where we're at. And then I'm going to give a separate video. I'm going to put together a separate video with like final results and analysis. But for right now, it's still drying. So it's still a little floppy because it's wet, but it's coming out cute. But I think the ridges have really made a difference. And I think we really need a thicker yarn for the Hello Snow. Even some of the snowflake stars are really kind of melting in there. So the results weren't like, you know, top tier for what we expected. You know, so the results could have gone like a little bit better, but that just means that we're not done yet. So when a project doesn't go our way or quite like what we were anticipating, especially when we're experimenting, I had no idea how the ridges were going to play into this design. It just means that we're not quite done yet. We're going to keep working on it. And then I think I'm actually going to add a little bit of yarn, and I don't know which version of yarn I'm going to add, but I think I'm going to go right over the top of the Hello Snow, and I'm going to couch a little bit of yarn down so it's a little bit thicker, and it's going to overcome those ridges no problem, because this hat's cute and it has a lot of potential. I think we just need to beef it up a little bit. So I will show you the results this week. I will put together another video sometime midweek once this is all dry, and we will share the results. And I think it's going to come out cute. It just might need a little extra something to get it over the ridges hurdles. So I think it's cute. We theoretically could leave it like this. It's not bad, but I think we can get it even better. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit subscribe, click the little bell so you get notifications so that you can see the final results from our hat project. It was a ton of fun hanging out with you today. I'm so glad that you joined me for Sunday Stitches. If you want to hang out again, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can check out these Sunday stitching video hangouts, tutorials, and more. Can't wait to see you there. Until next time, friends.